So I've been gassed up by all of the friends that I have in some Edinburgh group chats that I should A, be a podcast personality, which like, okay, and B, I should make a YouTube channel because I could be helping other international students, and I mean that's like nice. So here I am doing that. Hi, my name is Maddie. I'm American. I'm gonna be going to the University of Edinburgh in September. It is currently July 19th, which I can't math, but it is like 6 weeks away, 6-ish. I am very excited, and as an American I have obviously applied as an international student, and so in my like search for resources on international students, especially Americans going to the UK, it is really difficult to find like applicable resources, and so I was like, well, there's obviously a need for it because I would have loved if somebody could explain all of this stuff to me. So here I am, and maybe I can help you. I don't know how many of you there actually are like going to the UK, so I have a list of a bunch of things that as an international student, especially being an American going to the UK, I had questions about these things, and I guess this is like a compilation of all of the answers, at least for my situation. Okay, so I'll start with a little bit about me. I already said my name is Maddie. I am 18. I was born on April 1st. So I am in fact a certified joke. Good stuff. I will be studying English Lit and History, which I'm so excited for. I have looked at the classes and whatnot, and I'm so excited. Although the description sounds so fun, and it's so exciting, and I am completely a nerd. But I have been planning to go to the UK since I was a freshman. So I've been doing research on this sort of stuff for 4 years. So I have like a lot of resources, and I've also, given that it has been like some really influential 4 years, I have gone over so many different like degree paths and whatnot that I have been like thinking of as like a career. So like at one point I wanted to do modern languages, where I would do like 2 or 3 languages as a whole degree, and I could like be a translator or something like that. There was a time that I just wanted to do history. There was a time that I wanted to do like a niche history. I don't even remember what it was. There was like a whole year I thought I wanted to do medicine, but it's not very economical if you're an international student who wants to do medicine. I would recommend, especially if you're an American, just bite the bullet at American med school, because it's more expensive in the UK. It doesn't make sense because you're gonna be paying 70 to 90 grand for 6 years instead of 4, and then get paid like £60,000 for the rest of your life because they have national health care. So I wanted to do medicine for a while. I had been thinking about doing law, and then I was like, well, okay, but like history I really like. And how I landed on English Lit and History is basically, I've always liked English. I find it really fun. I love reading. History has always been my thing. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll look at like combinations of the two. So that's how I arrived to the degree that I'm doing, but I have background for a bunch of other degrees as well. That wasn't very concise, but whatever. So to demystify the process, I'm gonna lay down some things that I was confused about, okay? And then I can try and explain it. Okay, ready, let's go. First off, this is the biggie. AP scores, like from College Board, are the equivalent, like those are the grades that you need to get in. It's very different from the US process where AP tests basically work as college credit, and you can test out of certain classes if you have good AP scores. The UK education system does A-levels. Well, okay, the UK varies a lot based on the countries within the UK. If you don't already know that there are multiple countries in the UK, you're doing something wrong. So generally speaking, A-levels, hires, whatever they are, it's usually like very difficult classes for your last 2 years of their equivalent of high school. And those scores are then used as your entrance requirements for your degree. So sometimes they'll ask you, like for my degree, I had to get a 4 on English Lit to then be accepted. And that's if you have a conditional offer. If you get an unconditional offer, you either like already have scores or they just think you're a really good applicant. And I've met a very large like amount of both, and it's quite mixed. So it's not like if you get a conditional, like that's bad. It's totally fine. It just means that like they want a little bit more to ensure that you're like ready for their like level of academic rigor, basically. So if you're even thinking about this, I seriously recommend you figure it out by the like winter, spring of your junior year when you're registering for your senior year classes, because you need to take AP tests. Like there is no getting out of it at all to then go to the UK, because that is what they ask for. They also do like having an ACT and SAT score. Granted, they are not like as important compared to the AP score, because the AP score is make or break. So I'd recommend taking AP classes. And a lot of schools don't offer them, which is really unfortunate. And at that point, it is best to email the university directly, so that you can make sure that there is some way, or if there isn't a way, they will tell you that, and then you can like move on to looking at different places. Next, actually applying for the courses. It's a bit complicated from an international perspective compared to Common App. So Common App, you add all of the different schools that you want to apply to. There's no limit. They use UCAS, UCAS. You're only allowed to apply to 5 schools. That's it. You get to pick 5 schools. Granted, you can't apply to less if you want to, or you can apply to multiple degrees at the same university, which you can like totally do that. If you don't know what you want to do, you can apply for different degrees at all different universities. You kind of have to narrow down your choices quite wisely. Next is the personal statement. This is, I think, the biggest thing that is complicated with applying to the UK. The American personal statement is personal. It is much more like you're showing your charisma, you're also showing like different things that have happened in your life, and it's supposed to develop like what type of character you have for the university to decide like if that's what they want to add to their student body, basically. The UK, it's called a personal statement. It is about your personal education. It is not about you as a person, in the same regard as an American one. You are writing why you are a good fit for the degree that you're applying for. You are writing why you're a good fit for even like the subject. Like if you're applying to multiple different types of degrees, but all of them are in the humanities aspect, you are laying out why you like humanities, why you're good at it, things that you have learned that have really impacted you and influenced you to like these things and like apply for the degrees that you're applying for. And as an international student, you want to include like a little blurb about why you're studying as an international student, because like that's a pretty big one. And it also can like help set you apart from the rest of applicants a little bit. You can apply by yourself, or you can use an application like sponsor or service. So there's like one that I used which helped me with my application, and it was actually quite nice. It was across the pond. They work with specific UK universities, and so they can give you all of those details. You can like say that like, oh, I'm interested in this, this, and this, and they will compile like a list of all of the different degrees and the entry requirements that you need for said degrees. And it's really nice because it like has a whole list for you in an email format, and it's an actual person that you're talking to, where you can be like, I'm not really sure what I want to study, but I like this, this, and this. And then you also can like send them your scores and stuff like that, and they help you with your personal statement, which was my personal like favorite thing, and it is completely free, which chef's kiss. But of course the drawback is that they only work with certain universities, and thus they'll only promote certain universities' degrees. You can still use their application system for other universities, which is what I did because they don't work with Edinburgh, but it's okay because like on the actual application, it'll list the schools that you want, and then you write in the degree that you're looking for, but it'll just be like university not listed, and then you would put what university it is and the degree that you're applying for. But they do work with like a lot of the really, really big schools. So it's still a really great service to use, in my opinion. You can do that, or you can raw dug it all yourself, and figure out how to man the UCAS system, which is quite complicated. I did try that for a while, and then I was like, I seriously need help with my personal statement though, because that's like, I don't know, I find that to be the most difficult part of the application. So I ended up using Across the Pond for that primarily, but also just because it's nice to have somebody to talk to that actually knows things, because odds are your counselors at your school will not know anything about applying to the UK. And I've met with college counselors before at my school, and I go to like a very good school. Like it has been ranked top like 50 in the nation multiple times. And it's a public school. So there have been people that have applied to the UK and gone to the UK in the past. But they really are not helpful because they can like tell you in general the things that you need, but they do not know like subject specific requirements or anything like that. They end up asking you more questions because you know more than they do, and they can do research, but like you can do that yourself, and it honestly makes more sense if you do. So yeah, yep, those are the things that you can do for applying the UCAS. And once you have applied, it's honestly not that difficult. You can apply for this past application cycle for 2022 entry, like fall entry. The deadline was January 26th, I believe. And you can start your application all the way in May of the year before. So like I started my application in May of 2021. And so I was doing it for all of summer, which I recommend so much. Even if you're not going to the UK, like literally spend your summer going into senior year writing your fucking college essays. It is so important, and it literally saved my life because all of my friends were complaining about like, oh my god, I have like 5 supplemental essays and I still have to finish my personal statement, and it's like October and their deadline is like November 1st. And I was literally chilling because I finished mine in August. And you can submit your application anytime after that. So I submitted my application on October like 3rd or something like that. Granted, that does not mean that you'll get an answer really, really early. Once you have your offer from your 5 schools, all of the offers, they're all gonna have different clearance checks, which is basically like if they're asking you for clearance documents, it means that they're asking you for the entry requirements that they have laid out in their website, which to access the international ones, you want to go to whatever college website and then your like program that you're looking at, and then it'll have the entry requirements in the A levels and the IB, and then at the like end of that box it'll have like the international student equivalent scores, and you go to that, and then you go to the country that you're applying from, and then it'll tell you like in general what they want, and then lower on that screen it'll have like a subject specific requirement thing. You want to click on that and then go to your wherever your program is listed on that, and it'll tell you the exact score that they're going to ask you for. And if you don't get that, then like, unless you have an unconditional, like you're kind of fucked. So know that beforehand, because then you can go into the school year being like, okay, I need to get a 4 on blank test. And then once you have all of your offers, whether or not they're conditional or unconditional, you pick one as your firm choice, which is just like the equivalent of a top choice, like the one that you really want to go to. And then you have an insurance choice, which is your backup, basically. So it's the equivalent of a safety school, but it's supposed to be a fail-safe for your firm choice. If you don't get your score that you need to get in, then you automatically default to your insurance choice. So generally speaking, the idea is that your insurance choice has a lower clearance, like entry requirement, than your firm choice. So then if you don't get all of the top scores that you need for your firm choice, you can default and get into your insurance choice. Those are some general things and like a little bit about myself. I was like an entry-level video, and I can do like a much more in-depth one on any of these topics. And I'll definitely, like, I really want to document like my whole moving process. And as I've already like done a lot of the things that I actually need to be able to move, I can do videos like talking about how I prepared and like what exactly the process is like, because I've literally just done it, so it's like really fresh in my mind. I'm gonna go and edit this video. Hopefully it's not really awkward and the audio quality isn't absolute shit. So peace out.